Skull. This is JB the Elder. I wanted to make this video for a while, and people have been asking me about this guy DSP I like to watch on the internet, and he finally made a video that kind of sums up his whole history, so I didn't have to go through all the years and years of all his BS. I wanted to use this video as an example of DSP's mental gymnastics he uses in his incredible way to save his fragile ego. The hoops that he goes through in this video is amazing. I'm so glad that he did this, and I'm so glad that he didn't put any ads on, so I don't have to deal with that. I've had a background in psychology, but I don't really use it. It's just interesting to me. And this gentleman, Darksy De Phil here, he is a medical or psychological marvel. I've never seen anybody with the absolute zero self-awareness that he has, and the narcissism is off the chains. It's like a perfect storm. I'm going to show the Howard and John Rambo reaction video that DSP did to try to debunk, and he goes through hoops. I've been watching DSP. I think I was trying to find some tips on Dark Souls, and I saw the immortal Sebastopol Queens. This is how you don't play, and I was like, who the hell is this guy? And I was just hooked ever since, in like a disbelief state. So I've been a detractor for years, and this is my attempt at bringing something to everyone. Got familiar with OBS, so hopefully my background and my visuals will help make this interesting if I'm boring, but I wanted to give it a go, so here we go. Skull. This is JB the Elder. This is the part 2. I didn't do part 1 because of how boring DSP was. Basically, it was just his old history through his eyes. John and Howard never told him that they were upset, even though they were acting funny. Nothing DSP could have done because they didn't tell him, so if they didn't tell him, he couldn't do anything about it. He knocked down Howard a little bit, saying that he wasn't friends with him, so that negates any opinion Howard will have. We'll go back to that. He's hurt that they didn't tell him, but it doesn't matter if they were hurt when you unfollowed them on Twitter. On Thanksgiving, and you blame the trolls for that. And you blame the trolls for giving you so much crap, well, like they always do. They live rent free in your brain, that you have to react, and you have to do this knee-jerk reaction. And it's taken you, what, 2015 to 2022 to finally admit that you were wrong. But then after that, a few minutes, you go back to the trolls. So that's usually the theme with DSP. One of his mental gymnastics he does is the absolute zero self-awareness he has to protect his little fragile ego. So here's part 2. Hopefully this is more exciting than part 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to DSP Reacts to the John and Rambo response video from 2015. So far, we haven't got too far into it, but that's because I talked a lot. But now we're going to get heavily into it, all right? If you have not seen part 1 already, I strongly recommend you go check it out first, or else you're going to have no idea what's going on. That has all the references you need to get up to this point. Thank you for watching.
He'll repeat himself about part 1 here,
on this video
like
at all,
he
in any form.
loves
If you
to
see it,
do.
it's not me. Someone claimed the video. I'm not doing that. Okay, let's continue. Here we go.
About me, about others, man. So, and again, people get pissed listening to this as a consolation prize. If you really think about it, if you're a fan of Phil's, you have to agree that I did, and I know you did to an extent, everything you could to help him over the years. You know, and so much so that to this day he makes money off of videos that we're in. To this day, every day.
Yeah.
Whether it's 10 cents, whether it's $10, whatever the hell it is, he's making money off off the work we did for him every single day.
Mm-hmm.
He's right. Still finding new ways to monetize us.
Well, not today.
Based on that video.
Not today, John. Maybe up to this point, but not today. If I was going to do this react, there was no way I was going to monetize it. For good reason. Like I said, that's the...
Seems like he's jumping to be the better guy and not monetizing this stuff. I'm sure he's made so much money off of what they did in the past that he thinks it's like, throwing out the better man. But I guarantee all of his people have been tipping him, leaving super chats, behind the scenes, as he says, which is where he gets to do all of his little shady shit. So I'm sure he made a pretty penny off of this too, DSP.
the major point he says. No, not monetizing this whatsoever, and it's too important. It's too important to monetize. It really is. Okay.
Video and other things that go on.
Yeah, pretty much.
And by the way, again, running theme money. Oh, I don't care about the money. It's not about the money. But then they keep bringing up money being monetized. We'll talk about that because John will directly address it later. So it's weird that it's an ongoing issue if there's no issue. Okay.
Yeah.
Oops.
And then I think I really think that like it's really like a testament as to what he held our friendships for, because it seems that the money was more important than us being his friend.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you feel.
Yeah.
I'm sad that they feel. I'm really sad that they feel that way. I really am sad that they feel that way because, as I said over the years to you guys, to me it was like we were friends. We would hang out.
Well, look back at it. You were friends when they were making content with you. They were friends when they were over making videos with you. You moved to Seattle area, and you're not friends with them anymore. So what's the one thing that you're not going to be doing with them as friends here and as friends when you're in Seattle is getting money off of content you make with them. So who's to show? Who's to say that it wasn't about money when it's right in your face, DSP?
We were going to hang out regardless and have fun. So if you can put a silly camera down and record what you're doing and make money doing it, why not? Right? Like, to me, I was doing YouTube as a hobby for 2.5 years before I could even put ads on my videos and make a living doing it, right? John was in my content before I could monetize it. We were having fun already. So to me, it was like, let's hang out, let's have a good time together. Hey, by the way, we can make money doing it. Why the fuck not? Right? To them, it seems to be like that's not the case. That because there was money involved, that wasn't like friends hanging out. To me, it was. The entire time we did Project 7, was it work? Yes, but was it a bunch of friends working together and having a shitload of fun doing it? Hell yes. That was a really cool experience. So what's the issue with the money-making part of it? That I didn't understand. And again, never brought up. It wasn't like they complained and said, Phil, we really don't have enough stuff that happens without the cameras on. Phil, it would be great if we could hang out today and you didn't record. And by the way, that did happen a lot. We went to a convention. I wasn't recording every moment that we were there. When we went over to Howard's house to play Super Turbo frequently because he had cabinets there, he recorded and broadcast all of that, not me. I didn't record while we were there at all usually. That was just me having fun with those guys, okay? So it wasn't like every single interaction I had with these guys the camera was on. They definitely are saying that in this video many times. That wasn't the case, but that's definitely like how they're spinning it. Whenever John Rambo came over to do a weekly co-op with me, which we would do Smart Guys, our wrestling commentary show, and then we would actually do gameplay co-op. We would have like an hour to 2 hours of conversation.
Spinning it, they were your friends. They were hanging out. I think they're talking about the only time you guys are actually down to business is what they're talking about. When you try to monetize their friendship, doing Project 7 and doing the co-ops on your channel.
Before we ever even took a camera out, just shooting the shit, hanging out, having a good time, talking about our lives, right? Like I said, I felt like I was actually really close friends with John Rambo. I don't know if he felt the same way, or that it was reciprocated, but I felt that way for sure. Like, he was the guy who I kind of opened up to about stuff. Was that on camera? No. A lot of stuff was on camera, but that was the fun part. Was, let's play games and dick around. Let's talk about wrestling and make a buck on it. But not the other stuff. And there's private conversations we had over the years that none of us have ever talked about publicly. Private shit about me and him about him. We would never talk about that publicly. Like, we were friends. To me, when they say, oh, it was only about the money for Phil, that gets to me badly. That hurts because that's not the case with John. With Howard, again, we never had that close personal friendship. He would come over to be in other co-op shit we were doing or Project 7. But John, I don't know how he could possibly say that. Really. That's really hurtful to me for them to say something like that. When John and I feel, did have a real friendship. We were hanging out playing Street Fighter together before I ever turned on a camera for YouTube from 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009. How can you say we didn't have a friendship and it was only about the money? When we had that friendship way before YouTube was a thing. That blows my mind. You can go watch the videos that are out there, but understand that there's history behind it that you didn't know, And it seems like he's just saying, oh, we were only friends during the YouTube years. That's completely false. It's completely false, all right? But what I will say is this.
He's not talking about the subject at hand, though. He's saying he's going around in circles, and he's not hitting the issue. He's talking about how he's going on semantics like an attorney. Now he's picking up little things that have nothing to do with the main problem. He said John thought he wasn't friends. John said he wasn't friends until YouTube. That has nothing to do with what they're talking about in the video. Now you're going on a rambling tangent, DSP.
When I became a full-time YouTuber, I became a workaholic. And I worked my ass off, constantly making videos, 7 days a week. I did not have a day off when I started monetizing my videos on YouTube in 2011, 2012. It was Mr. No Days Off. I'm just here to pump out videos for the internet and make money on it, right? That was my life. I loved it. I loved gaming and everything. But that was absolutely, positively my life.
Dude loves to talk about himself. Make
was
himself
there
build him
time
up into
that
this,
I made to hang out
this
with these guys
workaholic
outside of that? Every once in a
grinder.
while, if I went over to play Super Turbo at Howard's house and we were all there together, or going to a convention. We went to several conventions and events together, and even though, yes, I filmed there, the vast majority of the time that I spent at those events was not filming. It was spending time hanging out with these guys, okay? So, again, this is, I feel, a misrepresentation of the situation. Absolutely, there was a ridiculous amount of filming and monetization of the time we spent together, but there was definitely friendship behind there as well. Again, Howard, whatever. Say whatever you want. We weren't close friends. John, we were. And that's incredibly hurtful to me that he says this. Like, all we ever did was record and make videos together and make money. That wasn't the case at all. And sadly, after I moved, it just got worse because now he's not there to be in person with and have the conversation. So instead, it became text messages back and forth, and he didn't like that. He wanted me to call him, and I really couldn't. And we'll talk about that because he's going to bring that up later specifically, and we'll address it at that point why there were no phone calls between us after I moved. All right, we'll get to that. But anyway, let's continue now because they're going to get to a certain point.
That's how I feel because, you know, I don't know. There's like a whole bunch of things that we got to talk about, and I don't want to go ahead and go out of turn.
All right,
but,
I got you.
Yeah.
We'll try to keep this, keep this rolling here.
Yep.
In that video, he says, this is the Thanksgiving video I'm talking about. He says,
We just watched.
he says they talked shit about me. I don't know if you caught that part.
I didn't say that. You could go back in this very video, or it actually was part 1. I didn't say that. What I said was, you know, if you, and this was me being very stupid. Essentially, what I was saying was, don't be passive aggressive. If you have an issue with someone, come out and say it. Don't talk shit. Don't hide the truth. I never said that they did talk shit about me. Okay? I never actually outright say that in the video. Can you say that I insinuated it? Yes.
DSP said they should have been more of men and told them the problems. But you said they were acting differently to you. You should have known if you really cared and you thought that some weird feelings were happening. You should have said something too, DSP. The phone works both ways. You knew you were losing them. The Thanksgiving thing was definitely a kick in the face. I mean, you made it seem like it wasn't a big deal, but if your friends, if my friends from, my in real life friends, if they block me on social media pages and block me from text and stuff and they defriended me off of social media, that's a big thing. That's a big deal. I mean, especially in like the infancy when everyone was all about that.
Can you say that I said it? No, because I never said it. What I was saying was, I'm not the kind of person who would do that. That's actually how I phrased that. I said, I wouldn't talk shit. I wouldn't do that. If I have an issue with someone, I tell them to their face about it. Okay? That's the point I was making in that video. However, John did talk shit about me. And we're about to watch it because he glosses over it in this video without actually showing the actual evidence of like what he's talking about. And now you're going to see it because, by the way, this is really where this video is where the big problem started with my trolls getting interjected into the situation. It was this very video you guys are about to see that started all the problems with the trolls harassing us on both sides. Let's do it.
Yep.
And I'm not exactly sure what that is in reference to. Now, there was a video I put out, Pay Me Tons, parody, right?
Yep.
Hi,
Here it is.
My name is John, and I am special because I upload videos to the internet. But being so important does have its dark side. In fact, it means that my life is much more difficult than everyone else's. While you're following the average path of working a traditional job, attending school, or perhaps both, I'm following my dreams and busting my ass. Talking over video games,
This is great, by the
breakfast
way.
pics, and vlogging about movies that I hate. Creative things. And as we all know, creativity is fueled by pure cash. This is why I've opened a Pay Me Tons account. It's an internet website that allows people like me to receive lots of creativity from people like you. Simply log in and transfer the entirety of your bank account into my Pay Me Tons account. I won't even get out of bed for less than...
I love how DSP is saying, "Oh, they didn't mention me. They didn't say anything to me." So I'm assuming that there was no problems. So he never said anything directly. John never said anything about DSP having a Patreon. But DSP, being the hypocrite he is, he's assuming that he's talking about him. So why wouldn't you assume that there was a problem? Or if he didn't say anything about it, you should say it was not about you because he didn't actually call you out directly.
$50. And then together, we'll make sure that the world, well, my world, is a much more creative place.
I'm not sure where we talk shit about him. I mean, we made that Pay Me Tons parody that says Darkside in it. But I'm not sure where we talk shit about it, okay? Now, for the record, I think this is funny. I do. I laugh at this. I think this is fucking hilarious. This is a razzing, okay? But this is a razzing that happens, okay, in early 2015. It might have been late 2014, but I'm pretty sure it was early 2015. This happened on John Rambo's podcast. This was open, like a cold open to his podcast, okay? At the time, no, and now I know it was early 2015 because that's when I opened my Patreon. So it was early 2015. At this point, it's almost a year has happened, okay? Almost a year has happened, all right? Or since I moved. I've been trying to have constant contact with John and have conversation, figure out what's going on with him. Is he okay? Figure out where we're going to make content. And every time that I texted him, I felt like he felt like I was always about asking about videos or content, and that wasn't the case. I never felt like every time that I would reach out to John, it was about, let's make videos, let's make videos. I was genuinely interested in how he was doing and everything that, because he was in a very stressful time where he was making Schnozman a whole bunch, and a lot of other stuff was going on. He actually talks about this in this video, so it's okay for me to say this is not private. He already talks about it in this video, okay? So this was the time frame, like mid to late 2014, early 2015. John stops directly responding to me. He stops responding to my texts and everything, okay? People are constantly asking me, Phil, what is going on with you and John? Why, are you going to do content with him? Is he talking? What's going on? All right? I should have said, fuck off. None of your business. That's where, okay, maybe not fuck off. That's kind of harsh. Maybe I should have said, none of your business. Don't ask me that question. It's between me and John. But instead, I would constantly, I don't know. Everything's fine. Maybe we're going to do content later this year. I'll let you know.
Because the trolls live rent-free in your brain.
Sadly,
you have to always prove that you're right.
John did text me back. I would say something out of turn I shouldn't have said. That was private. My fault. All that I'll take responsibility for. Okay? John's not talking to me actively at all. Everyone suspects there's an issue there, but I'm not being truthful. The truth is, I don't know what the issue is, but he's not talking to me anymore. After months of not talking to me, he puts this out. So what do you think the people on the internet think this is? Even if he's saying it's not about me, even though it says Darkside in it, it's about me, okay? What do you think people think? Wow. John out of nowhere, out of left field, just slammed Phil. Phil hasn't said anything bad or insulting about John, but John just slammed him. Wow. He fired the first shot. And that's the funny part, because they said in this video, Phil fired the first shot. Okay? Me unfollowing them on Thanksgiving was firing the first shot, according to Howard. No. I was not trying to hurt them by unfollowing them on Thanksgiving. This is a direct, intentional, concerted effort, a produced segment of a show slamming me for opening a Patreon. Has my name in it. You can't dispute it's about me. Sorry, you just can't. Okay? Now, the funny part is, in that Thanksgiving video that I made in 2015, I never said that they talk shit about me. I said if I was someone in a situation that had an issue, I would be public about it, confront someone to their face about it, and not talk shit. I never said they did. They did, but I never said they did. All of a sudden, they're bringing it up in this video. They're even referencing this Pay Me Tons segment. Why? Because either one of two things. They're feeling guilty because John made the segment and it absolutely was about me, so this is a way for them to try to deflect that and say it wasn't, or because everyone construed it as thus, and messaged the shit out of them saying, why did you make this about Phil when he hasn't said anything negative about you? Why are you slamming?
They never came out and said it was about you. So take what you said about them saying it about being friends with you and being upset with you and use it in this case. Just relax. You take yourself way too seriously, and that's always been your problem besides the narcissism. You can't just let people talk. You can never be the better man. You never have ever been the better man. I've never seen that happen once. You come across as that here, but you can tell in these little words that you will take the blame and you'll put the blame somewhere else.
Him in this video, I don't understand. Okay? Now, personally, I didn't take this as a direct insult, and they're actually going to talk about that. So let's continue. Let's switch back over here. Okay, here we go.
And it's a parody, man. I've done parodies in the past. Just to give you...
It's a parody that has my name in it. If it has someone's name in it, it's not a parody. A parody is a caricature of a person making fun of something. Not so you directly reference my name, so it is actually a slam on me. It's not a parody. A parody would have been, you know, a cartoonish content creator who isn't me, but maybe could be construed as me. You said Darkside in the video. That's not a parody anymore. You've passed the realm of parody when you name drop someone.
Yeah,
okay?
the whole idea I've done parodies about machinima. I did a YouTube parody where YouTube was a talking vagina robot that ran
Yep.
YouTube.
His parodies in the past: Machinima, the partner network that everyone knew that I was with for the longest period of time, YouTube, the website that I put videos on for a living. You see the running pattern here? Oh, I've done parodies in the past. Oh, by the way, every parody just happens to also be related to Phil. What a coinky dink, right? What a shocking coincidence that they all actually are related to things that have to do with Phil. Those others didn't name drop me, though. This one did. Okay.
Done GameStop, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Comes out, man.
Oh, now you missed that. He said GameStop, et cetera, et cetera. He did do a parody on GameStop. GameStop unfairly fired him because he was in my videos. We were at a tournament way back when, I think it was, I want to say 2009, 2010. We're at a Street Fighter tournament together. I'm filming. He's working for GameStop, and in the video, we're in a different game store, and he's basically saying things like, this is the best game store. They used that video, my video, as grounds to terminate it. Now, it's completely wrong. Shouldn't have ever happened. They were in the wrong for doing that. He made a giant, later on, he talked all about this in his podcast, and he did a big parody segment about GameStop, okay? So, what does he do parodies about? Things that he feels have wronged him, or things that, you know, are bad in relation to him. And all of it has to do with me somehow, right? Okay.
People get a little crazy about it. So 2 weeks later, you know, you and I were doing the show, and we explained it wasn't singling him out, you know.
Has my name in it.
It was about many, many things. And not necessarily in a hateful manner. Like, I think you can make fun of something.
That I agree with.
And really not feel negatively about it at all, actually.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Like Saturday Night Live, you know, Phil Hartman would dress as Bill Clinton.
If I recall, I think you were against Patreon at first, and you would shit on people with it. So I think they might be calling you out, not for doing it, but the fact that you are such a hypocrite about it in the beginning. You talked so much shit about Twitch streamers and their emotes and their stopping the stream to announce tips. You hated that back then. So you've gotten worse, and they've gotten better because they've moved away, moved on.
I don't think he wanted to assassinate the president.
Very, very bad analogy, okay? Because he's saying Phil Hartman impersonates Bill Clinton. He doesn't want to assassinate the president. True. That's absolutely true. But in this case, this was a different situation. No one was asking Bill Hartman, hey, Bill Hartman, didn't you used to have a friendship with Bill Clinton? Phil Hartman, excuse me. Did you have a friendship with Bill Clinton, and you're not talking to him anymore, even though he keeps saying he wants to talk to you, you're ghosting him, and now all of a sudden you drop this video on him? There's a difference. It's context. The context is there's a sketch comedy show at night that makes fun of everything equal.
You know what he was getting at. So this is DSP, the defense attorney, poking out things that he doesn't agree with, but not being involved in defending the issue. You started doing Patreon. Either they got jealous or they were a little bit offended because you probably could have told them you probably should on Patreon with them when you guys were hanging out.
Equal and isn't ill-intentioned at all, versus someone who everyone wants to know why you're not talking to Phil. You won't tell Phil or anyone else, and now you make a video that could be construed as a negative video about Phil. It's a completely different situation that he fails to really understand why it was construed.
Maybe,
by the internet.
allegedly,
Again,
you don't know.
I don't think it was actually intended, all right, as a video to be hurtful to me. I think he thought it was funny. I think it's funny, but you have to put it in context of the time. If he had released that video 2 years prior when we were still active friends and he was in my content or whatever, that would have been different. This is a situation where he's ghosting me, he's not in my content like he said he would be, and then he puts that out. Of course the internet is going to say,
Was this before or
"That's a
after
hit
you
piece on Phil. Why'd you do it?"
unfollowed him on
And he got
Twitter?
harassed for it. Basically, he got a lot of trolling for it at that time, okay?
Right.
Yep.
It's having a good time with something. And that was really my, what it was about, man. Now, was he like an inspiration for the character that I was portraying in that? Yeah, sure, to an extent, you know. But again, not in a malicious, hateful way.
I believe that.
It's having some fun with something. But it's not, again, I think it's hard to say it's directly about one person.
Except this is Darkside in it.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. The whole thing was about that pay me, wow, Patreon
Right.
website. You know.
And now here comes Howard with a little segment I like to call Howard Deflects. Because this is going to happen many, many times
must
during
know
this
that you
video.
deflect all the
Let's
time,
see how
dude.
Howard can deflect this one off of...
He's deflecting nothing. He's putting up a good point. You negating what he's saying before he even speaks, that's deflection. That's ad hominem. That's attacking the person and making them lesser than you before he even makes a point.
Of them doing something wrong.
What people do, and and then what it is too. It's when you look at it, it's to basically shed light on some of the negativity that revolves around that site, and not only that site, but Kickstarter. Look at all the shenanigans that has transpired in the past few years, where people raise up all this money, promise a product, and then basically everyone does so well. They took the money and people are fucked. Look at what happened with look at the disaster that Inafune is going out with that Mighty Number 9. That's still not out.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that one. Looking for it, hopefully come soon.
Howard feels that a Pay Me Tons parody about Patreon, the content of which directly name drops me, makes fun of someone who basically is a content creator who does video content like playing games, commenting over food, etc., and asking for monetary compensation for said work, is the equivalent of a Kickstarter campaign where a company does not provide a product for a contractual basis that is agreed to in said campaign for fundraising. Patreon is not Kickstarter.
Maybe he's alluding to your Patreon goals that you don't fulfill, like the Project 7 stuff that shit the bed. You never ask for anybody for refunds. Maybe he's thinking that that's like Kickstarter, where Kickstarter will start something and they won't fulfill their promises to the people that paid money, just like you did with Patreon. So he does have a point, and now you're gonna be a contrarian to everything that Howard says. I feel it. I feel that that's what you're gonna do the rest of this time. We'll see.
They're not even close to being the same. All right. He brings up a game, Inafune's Mighty Number 9, which did eventually come out, did live up to all expectations. Of course, at this point, it didn't. So he didn't know that was going to happen. But he's essentially saying, if you have a Patreon,
so you're saying he's right.
Someone's money and running and never producing.
But they released the game. You never released Project 7.
That's what he's saying. Okay. That Pay Me Tons segment was made in early 2015. There was no controversy around my Patreon at that point. This video was made later on in 2015 after that had happened.
Looks like he has some insight into what you're going to do.
Skinny on that. Again, you
look at this is a little words at that point. So you're just admitting right now.
Go into that whole Patreon situation.
You're admitting right now that you screwed people over in Patreon. So we'll keep that. We'll keep that for the record, Phil. You fessed up, even though you'll never admit if someone directly asks you. But you just fessed up to screwing people over for the Project 7 next episode or whatever the hell it was supposed to be.
Okay, so over the course of the year that this is out, they changed the narrative. Oh, this wasn't about us just making fun of filmmaking content. You see, this is us criticizing Kickstarter as a whole and saying that people aren't living up to the goals that they're promising or whatever, which is actually incidentally one of the controversies that I was embroiled in at the time with Patreon. Okay.
Oh wow.
So
then it makes sense then.
He's completely deflecting. My name is in the parody. You can't deny it's about me. If they had not put Darkside in there, you can argue that. My name, Darkside, is in the parody. It's about me directly. Personally, do I think that it was an actual mean insult?
They should have gone harder on you.
This. I watched it back myself, and I responded publicly and said, I don't think that's an insult towards me. It's kind of a funny joke. Yeah, it's razzing me, but they're not directly insulting me in this video.
I want to see that video. I don't believe it.
So if that's the case, why are they bringing it up in their video, right? I outright said it's not an insult. I didn't say in my Thanksgiving 2015 video that they had talked shit about me. I said if I was someone who had an issue with someone else, I would say it to their face.
Why are you spending so much time talking about it? You definitely got butthurt there, and you're trying to be the better man, but you're pretending to be the better man, but you're not. That probably ruined your little ego, and you definitely dwell on that. You've been dwelling on it right now, just like the trolls don't matter, but you spend half your pre-stream or whatever the level 1 podcast talking about trolls. So
anything like that. I'm telling you what I would do if I were in their situation. I didn't say they did it. You could say that I insinuated it, but I never said it. They are actually, in my opinion, guilty. They're feeling guilty that they made that, or John feels guilty that he made that. And to the point where so many people contacted him saying, that's kind of mean-spirited. You made that about Phil at a time when you were kind of not talking to him, and you were supposed to be in his content, and you're not. And this is kind of messed up. You did it, and he's got this underlying guilt that he made it. And now he has to talk about it to defend himself.
You're trying to say he's strawmanning or gaslighting? You're a professional at that. I think the only person that feels guilty is you. You went back on your morals, and you caved, and you had a Patreon, and they think that you were going to scam people, and what happens? You scam people.
In this video, when I never brought it up. Again, I outright said, he'll even say this, I outright said, it's not about me, he's not insulting me. So why, John, are you bringing it up in this video then? I don't understand. And then why did you have Howard deflect the whole situation, say it was about Kickstarter? Patreon is not Kickstarter. They're two completely separate businesses with different intentions. It's not even equivalent. It's like apples and oranges.
Third time.
Massive
Same point.
deflection and an epic fail of a deflection right there.
So
Yeah.
people make promises and they don't, go through with them, and that's basically what the parody was about,
Yeah, because I mean, I hate,
Wrong.
I hate
Had nothing to do with
Patreon, I hate
Kickstarter.
people that use it or something. No, I really, honestly, if everyone on there, hope you like
Semantics,
$1
Phil.
million a month.
Yeah.
Like what it doesn't, again, it doesn't affect me in any.
John, if you say things like, I hope that everyone out there makes $1 million a month, it doesn't affect me, then why are you saying it? If it doesn't affect you, why are you saying it? Because it affects you. Listen, I'm guilty of this too. Why do I sometimes name drop other content creators that are bigger and more successful than me? Because I'm jealous. That's why. Yes, I'm jealous of PewDiePie. Yes, I'm jealous of Markiplier. They're rich. I'm not. I'm jealous of them. Why do you think I bring them up? Right? Why would you even have a parody of that in your show unless you're somehow affected by it and feel that it's meaningful to you? It's a false narrative. He is affected by this. Money was a factor, or else none of this shit would have been brought up ever.
Well, money's a factor for you. They were pissed, and they got you. They got your goat, dude. The reason why you think that they're so jealous is because you were jealous of these creators. It's one of those things where, like, if somebody's a big liar and a pathological liar doesn't trust anybody that they meet because they know how bad they lie. They think everyone else lies. Everyone else is like them, and that's what DSP is like. He's so jealous of these guys that started after him or that looked up to him supposedly, like PewDiePie, and they. So he's projecting that onto these guys and saying that they're jealous of you with your money. But to them, it's never been about money. It was about getting screwed over by a friend, and it's about calling you out on the bullshit because you just lie. It's just something. Money to them doesn't matter. They're just using it in a way to catch you lying and swinging the narrative to what they think is real, was what happened.
If it really didn't bother him, he wouldn't make the parody about it. He's trying to bring light, a humorous light, to something that he feels maybe is kind of wrong. Not outright hurtful or criminal, but wrong. He doesn't agree that people make content and have a Patreon so people can support it with finances like that. He doesn't agree with that. That's why he made that clip. Don't then say, oh, it doesn't affect me. I hope you're all rich. No, you wouldn't have made the clip if it didn't affect you. It's complete bullshit. I know, because I'm a bullshitter too, and I've done it over the years with these other guys. Yes.
Oh, wow, he just admitted it.
100% you're
Okay.
affected by this, or you wouldn't have made it. It's cause and effect, man.
Way. But again, my main thing was like looking around YouTube and seeing that no one has done a parody of this, which is interesting.
No one ever made a parody of Patreon, according to John here. Okay.
Because people want.
Well, bring one
have
example
to
up,
make fun of
TSP.
it or
You're
something,
trying to clear your name, aren't you?
Or be called a hypocrite if they have one or something. So I felt like, I could get away with making fun of this thing, because I'm not looking to really make money on this or really have the option.
I'm not really looking to make money, or I don't really have the option. It's all in the way he says it. It's not that he doesn't wish that he could make money. He doesn't have the option to do it. And that's why he's making parodies about Patreon, people trying to make a living doing it. He doesn't feel he could be successful doing it. He says it right there.
Yep.
So I put it out, and
Why are you assuming that's the reason? Stop assuming things that they're saying when you're choosing to pick your assumptions. This goes back to them not wanting to do any business with you or have anything to do with you. You could have assumed then that there was a problem, but you didn't. It's only when it suits you, man.
here's a little secret for you. I don't really matter that much on YouTube. It's not a video that got 1 billion views.
Now, here
or
we go.
something.
Now he's downplaying himself on you. Oh, I'm not popular on YouTube. This is again going with his narrative. I can't make a living doing it. It's okay for me to make the parody. He's punching up, essentially, is what he's saying. I can make that parody because I'm punching up. True, but you're punching up at me, who's supposed to be your friend, right? My name is in the video. You're punching up at someone who's your friend. You're punching up at someone who. Why did I open the Patreon? Because I was having financial difficulties.
I love how the truth comes out after he's, oh, I knew it wasn't about me, or if it was, it didn't hurt me, but now you're saying that it did, and they're punching up at you, and this is the one reason why they're doing it is because of you, and now you're making excuses why you started Patreon, even though you said that you weren't going to do it, and you went back on your word. So this is probably number 958 times you've gone back on what you were going to say. So it makes you look even worse.
At the time, and by making that parody, you want to say who shot the first shot. I mean, okay, maybe you say unfollowing someone on Twitter is shooting the first shot. I say this is the first situation. This is the first outright kind of aggressiveness. What you do is passive aggressive. It's still aggressiveness towards me from John, okay?
Can you really say it affected you in a negative way?
Yes.
And despite all that,
Yes. I was mass message.
Yeah, mental gymnastics. So now it's he's the one who can decide when the first shot was fired. They were offended, even though you don't think it's a big deal. You said that, but it was a big deal in their eyes that you unfollowed them on Thanksgiving. So in terms of events, yeah, that's the first time. That's the first shot. But in your eyes, it's only the first shot because you were offended. So you have to. He's a vindictive dude. He can never. He always has to get even in some way. So they thought that was the first shot. Well, I think this is the first shot.
By people constantly. Phil, why did John insult you? Phil, are you aware John insulted you? Here it is. They were tweeting me. They were emailing me. It was on my video comments. It was on my stream comments. It was everywhere I went. John hates you. And it was toxic shit, and it made me feel like shit. Not that John made it, but that everyone's harassing me about it. Yes, it did absolutely, positively, negatively affect me. Again, 2015 was one of the worst years of my life. All this negative shit was piling up. This was just the cherry on top of the shit sundae. All this other shit going on. Do I really need someone who's supposed to be my friend piling on as well? Of course not. But it happened.
we came out and said it wasn't directly about him. We wished him the very best. And just said we're not going to be part of
Yeah,
this
they wish
stuff.
you the very best.
Nope.
So take it at
That
that.
didn't happen. We said it wasn't about him. We wish him the very best and said we're not going to be a part of his stuff. That never happened. Did they say it wasn't about me? Yes. Did they ever say, all right, we're outright saying to the public we're not going to be a part of Phil's stuff? No. That was part of the problem, that they never did that. They were doing that, and they'll actually admit this later on in the video. They were doing this behind the scenes. They were talking to people.
Unlike them, you have to play into the trolls. It's just part of your nature. They can walk away. They don't have no responsibility to tell these people anything. This behind the scenes stuff should have stayed behind the scenes. You brought it up into the light. This is their reaction to it. So you should be apologizing for bringing it up into the light. This is your doing. You started this whole thing. You read their text messages for your people on your videos for monetization. So you're the one that started this whole thing, DSP. I've never seen anything like somebody that can deflect and to have no responsibility for anything. He's like a medical marvel. There should be like doctors, like a team of psychiatrists, just like pondering over like the immense ability this guy has to not ever take anything responsibility to his own. It's crazy.
People in person that they ran into, and people were like, hey, whatever happened to you and Phil? You gonna do anything with them? And John would basically tell, no, we don't associate with him anymore. But they didn't tell me. Again, it's a passive aggressiveness, and it's being half truthful. Yes, they did tell people we're not going to associate, but not publicly. So everyone was constantly pounding me with requests as to why aren't you doing something with John? What's going on with John? And I had no answers.
That was that. So I don't see how that's talking shit.
That's the only reason why you were angry back then. Not that you lost them as friends, is because people were giving you shit about it. Like, I think you must have said that about 20 times, and you have never ever been looked like physically saddened by you losing them as friends. So shows who you are, man.
We're talking shit about him. On top of that, after the Pay Me Tons video came out, he publicly said, if John does a skit making fun of Patreon, it doesn't mean he's
Correct.
talking shit about me.
Absolutely correct. I said that.
I'd like to know.
Yeah.
Where was the shit talk?
Right.
It's like one of those things where
But
you
I didn't say you should. You should talk to me. I never said it. We just watched the video. I said if I was in that situation, I wouldn't shit talk. I didn't say you did. You can say there's an insinuation there, but that's a jump. And now I wasn't saying that they had shit talked me. They are feeling guilty about this Pay Me Tons video. All year long, people said, "Hey, you basically insulted Phil with this," and now.
Regardless of how guilty they are or what, these guys are gentlemen over how you react. They're even when they're shitting on you in this video and getting out the dirty laundry, they still have way more tact than you'd ever have. They could probably, if they would stoop to your level, they would destroy you in this video. But they held back because they are not like you, man. Like, you need to get even. You need to make shut the trolls up and all these people talking. They just they're acting like they were ex-employees and didn't want to burn any bridges, and they still to me, they didn't burn any bridges with you.
Now they're projecting that onto me when I didn't say something that they're saying I said. You see, I outright said that they didn't insult me. So why is this even an issue, and why is this being discussed? I have no idea.
Just say something in a video, and like, oh, they talk shit, but you have no
Didn't say they talk
examples of
shit.
this. So people just kind of go, oh, they talk shit. They must have done it.
But I didn't say that.
Yeah, and
Fragile
you
ego
know,
was burnt.
It's just one of those things that people like. I feel bad because he doesn't know how to let go of things. I guess people like, you know, and this happens with anything. You know, people jam you with stuff on like
he's right.
Twitter, and they prod you and prod you and prod you to try to
Not
get a
just
response out of it. And he fell right into the shenanigans.
Yeah, you know what? And we're falling into it right now because honestly,
Yeah, we're
I think
falling into it right now too because he threw a shot, and then we didn't want to throw the shot, but now we have to throw the shot.
yeah, it's weird. It's weird timing. Why did you pick that day? At that
It's
time?
tough to be the better man,
You know,
when you're
So
constantly.
it's weird because now I don't even know what
the
they're
better
talking
man.
about. Are they talking about when I unfollowed them on Twitter in 2014, or are they talking about the video I put out in my holiday Ask the King that I always do on
Probably talking
Thanksgiving
about all of
2015?
that, and
I
when
actually
you-
have no idea which they're even talking about, because again, they've already jumped from 2015
When you
to
read their
2014 to the
text.
Pay Me Gun segment. It's where's the timeline? What are they even talking about? I don't know. I actually have no idea. Okay.
This is the semantics. This is the defense attorney that DSP tries to become. He's ripping on them about the structure of their video, but it has nothing to do with the subject at hand. It's the structure that you're talking about right now. You're not talking about anything that you did. Now you're ripping on them for the structure of the video.
But I agree with Howard. I have always been terrible at damage control. I've always had an issue where if I get attacked from multiple directions, and back then it was way worse, by the way. Today, we got our shit under control, right? We do. Today, you got a ton of people in the chat being dicks to me right now. I'm not paying any attention. I don't care. It doesn't bother me anymore, you know? But back then, people came on me on Twitter, came at me in my video comments, came at me in my stream chat.
It doesn't bother you. That's why you're trying to take down all these channels. That's why you constantly talk about it. It does bother you, and you haven't changed. And this is just showing people that have never seen you before that you are the same person in 2015 that you are in 2022.
On my forums, I fell for it. Hook, line, and motherfucking sinker. Motherfucking sinker, bro. I just jumped like a big fish. Here's always a worm. Eat that shit. I fell for it all the time. I always took the bait. I always got angry. This is what people were doing. They were troll baiting me constantly. Ultimate taking of the bait. I was such an idiot. And I would get upset about shit for no fucking reason that I never should have got upset about. I let these trolls get to me. That is why, for sure, that is why things got so bad with the internet and me, with this is how you don't plays and shit. They're like, the worse that we get, the more we get to fill and the better reaction we get. And Howard, 100% correct here. All right? I was the public-facing figure, not them. Did they have their own internet shit going on? Yes. But I was the one who made a living on the internet. So I was the one who saw it every single day. Every video, every stream, every comment, everywhere. Where's John? What's going on with John? Why isn't John in the video? Why isn't he making...
So you're still not taking responsibility. Now you're blaming the trolls for the way you act to them because you're the big man, you're the one that always gets the limelight, and you're the victim of all these trolls. So now you can treat these two guys however way you wanted to treat them, because now it's not your responsibility anymore. It's the trolls' fault. It's not your fault. It's the trolls' fault. It's like a double deflection. You're deflecting it, and you get all high and mighty. I'm going to take responsibility, but then on the other hand, you're going, it's the troll's fault for pushing me to it. It's insane. I've never seen anybody online with the absolute zero way to respond, like to take criticism and to take responsibility for something.
making the videos with you? What did you do to John? Why? Why, Phil? Why did you ruin John's friendship with you? And I'm like, what the fuck, man? So then I would say dumb
Gaslighting.
shit. I would completely say dumb shit that was out of turn, that was insulting, that was dumb, that was revealing private information, and it's all wrong. I have no defense against that at all. Zero. I did it. It's wrong. They're going to bring up instances of it. Can't defend it. All right? At least today, if you haven't noticed,
You just
we do have
did.
things better under control when it comes to things, comments on the streams and things like that. It's not a constant toxic universe anymore. I would argue that the universe of Darkside Phil at one point was a very toxic place to be. We have definitely improved that over the years, okay? But no, I can't defend it. Howard, absolutely correct in this statement. I was completely guilty of this shit.
It's not like we did the show Wednesday and we were like talking shit or there's anything that has to do with them. It's like it's a attempt at trolling.
Yep.
It's let me say something. Hopefully they'll respond. Then I can come back with something else, and I create a whole situation of drama around myself.
That's not true.
You know, and I think this is what he wanted us to do. This is why I haven't done this ever until now. Despite him, running me down on his forums, on Twitter, and his chat.
Talk about that.
And like try to do stuff on the sneak. But I catch wind of all this stuff, man. People send me all this stuff.
Yeah,
And most part, I don't look at it, but with things like this happen, I'll go through and see what's going down.
So,
See, DSP, John knows how to avoid feeding into the trolls. He just doesn't look. He becomes the better man, which you'll never be, because you take yourself way too seriously. And all this right here is a way to try to save your image. You don't care about their friendship that you had in the past. You just want your image to be good, and you want those super chats and those subs and those memberships to come in.
he's saying there's a campaign against him. Like, I was constantly trying to, like, talk shit about him and bring him down and stuff. Again, that wasn't the intention, but again, it's troll bait. Trolls baiting me into saying dumb shit or trying to get emotion out of me, right, about the situation. Specifically, he doesn't bring up any specifics, so I can't directly react to what he's saying and say, oh, here's what I meant or whatever. So I don't know. I can confirm it happened. Happened on Twitter, happened on my forums.
The trolls did it. Trolls did it.
On my forums who would constantly pelt me with shit about this and try to get this out, and I would fall for it. Every time I typed a paragraph, I fell for it. Oh my God, I did it again. But here's the thing. He's trying to kind of say that, like, I'm doing it behind the scenes. Everything I did was public. My forums are public. You can see them right now. I didn't delete the posts. My Twitter's public. My videos are public. Everything's public. It's not like Phil is trying to do a underhanded backstabbing campaign where he's bad-mouthing John behind the scenes and shit. I did it in public. I mean, maybe that's even worse, right? But it seems like he's trying to say, like, oh, I got wind of it. Now, John, you got wind of it because my trolls baited me and then they sent you my responses. They did it on purpose. It was a concerted campaign. They tried to get me to react badly so that you would see me react badly and be angry with me.
But you reacted badly. It's your fault. It's not the trolls' fault. It's your fault.
This was absolutely them trying to create friction between us, and I was guilty because I was the one with the public face. Again, I was the one who got attacked with it every day. How are you going to reach John? Hit him with a video comment, tweet him. He doesn't blame the victim that often. You don't have other ways. I had to be public every day with my job. Trolls. He didn't have to.
So we can't.
Okay.
Can't do anything wrong. It's the troll's fault because he's the victim.
But absolutely, John bit hook, line, and sinker too. When the trolls sent him, he's, oh, I got wind of it. How did you get wind of it? Because the troll sent it to you, dude. I mean, how did you not realize who it was? They were getting me to say stupid shit so that they could show it to you and you'd be mad at me. That was the point. That was what they were intending to do to begin with. You see? Okay, let's continue.
You know, it's an attempt to get something going.
Oh, and by the way, he says this is an attempt to get something going. The reason he's talking like this and the reason he made that Thanksgiving video that we watched at the very beginning is because he wants to say something, then we'll say something, then he'll say something. It'll be drama going back and forth for attention on the internet. Wrong. All right? I'm going to reveal this later in depth, but the reason that I did that in that Thanksgiving video was because I needed to prompt an action because in my life I had a lot of fucked up stuff going on. This was one of them. I was actually having a lot of problems behind the scenes mentally because of what a bad year it was for me. We'll talk more about that because there's a specific segment of this video that addresses things you're like, I don't understand, and when I explain, you'll understand. But I never, in my wildest dreams, expected they were going to do a public video like this. First of all, Howard at all. Howard has nothing to do with it. But John.
So you went and did all that on Thanksgiving and they made that video because everything else is going on. Like it, you know, how much damage would have been saved? Your whole career would have been saved at just one point when you screw up. Just to be like, you know what? I screwed up. I reacted wrong. I never heard the word say, I am sorry, without a but at the end, without a well at the end. It's just, John, Howard, I am sorry for what happened. I hope one day we could be friends or at least talk it out. I am sorry. Boom. That's it. But no, this whole thing is about clearing your name, man.
I never expected it. I thought this would be the straw that broke the camel's back, that he would either call me or start responding to my texts again and say what was going on. Because again, he had been ghosting me essentially for almost a year at this point when I made that Thanksgiving video 2015. Okay? So that's what I thought. I thought, all right, if there really is an issue, which he always said there was never an issue. He never said there was an issue. He would ongoing tell me, oh God. All right, everybody, what's... Okay, that's the wrong video. I guess we gotta get out of there. There we go.
I was
oh God, now we're at the end of the video. Anyway, he would outright tell me when he did respond, there was no issue. Don't worry, there's no issue. If there's an issue, we're gonna work it out. I'm gonna be in your content as things on my side and yada yada yada, that kind of shit. And then, he just stopped responding entirely. When he stops responding entirely, it's like, dude, come on, at least be honest or truthful or upfront and transparent with me, you know? And he wouldn't be. He would just ghost me. So I thought making that Thanksgiving video would prompt him to finally reach out. And even if it was, Phil, I've had enough, okay? I've seriously had enough with you. I don't ever want to be your friend again. At least if he had done that, there would have been closure, okay? That's what I was looking for, closure, because it was open-ended, and people were constantly hounding me about this and wouldn't leave it alone. And I was like, the only way I'm ever going to get closure is to force the hand. Is that fucked up? Yes. Is that wrong? Yes, it is. I shouldn't have ever done that. It's fucked up to put him in that stressful situation that he was in because of me. Absolutely.
Dude, who does that to people? Just because you're getting pressure from people you never met in your life about something happening with your friends. You could have called them once and squashed it yourself. But you know what? That would have taken you taking responsibility and taking the blame. But now, oh, Howard, I just want to close. And then, oh, there's another excuse. Now you just want a closure. Like you just can't take responsibility.
That was wrong to do, and I shouldn't have done it. But I did it because a lot of things going on in my life that will be explained later in the video. Now I got to find where we are.
Option.
Yep.
So I put it out, and here's a little secret for you. I
What
don't
a
really
thunderhead.
No, here we go.
It's like it's a attempted trolling.
Here we are.
Yep.
It's when you say something, hopefully they'll respond.
I didn't
You
want a
have to come back
response
to something
publicly. I
else,
just wanted him to
and
respond to
create
me
a
in general. It's been a
situation,
year
drama
since he
around
was
myself,
talking to me.
You know,
I just wanted anything.
I think this is what he wanted us to do. This is why I haven't done this ever until now. Despite him, running me down on his forums, on Twitter, on his chat,
We already did this.
and
So
try to do stuff on the sneak. But I catch wind of all this stuff, man. People send me all this stuff.
Yeah.
For the most part, I don't look at it, but when things like this happen, I'll go through and see what's going down. It's an attempt to get something going.
Yeah, and he falls victim to it on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And he has an issue, like a really big issue with damage control.
Yeah,
Like he
I
doesn't
agree
know
here.
how to ignore things.
I agree here. 100%.
Howard tells it
Why
like
we're
it
in the
is. That's
situation
why he
that we're in now,
probably
because of that.
tried to knock him down before he started
There was
speaking.
no need for him to address this. He could have just let it go, and that was it. But we'll talk. I don't know if you want to.
3 months after we last spoke about him, in a positive way that we spoke about him. Let's choose just 3 months randomly and just say some stuff.
But again, that was 3 months. John didn't ever think about me, hear about me. I was getting it constant. My trolls were all over me constantly about it. Man, Phil, you really fucked up that relationship with Rambo because that was a good thing you had going. He was your friend, and look what you did. And I was like, what are you talking about? You don't know anything. There's no public information about this at all.
But they were right. Howard and John wanted to move on, and you were getting shit for your trolls. Just ignore them, just like Howard and John did.
But that's what I got every day, and it just festered, and it got toxic inside of me, that I felt like shit over this, all right? And again, why did this come up? It was Ask the King on Thanksgiving. That's my Thanksgiving thing that I do every year. I don't know if I specifically do it anymore. I mean, 7-8 years later. But, I used to do it every Thanksgiving at the holiday Ask the King, and it's a question that came up, and I felt that this would actually give it closure. Because from my end, it was one of two things was going to happen. Either they ignore it completely, they never respond, in which case I say, that was my last word on the subject, never talking about it ever again. Or they respond behind the scenes, I find out what's actually going on, maybe we have a resolution, we work things out and we're friends again, or maybe not. And if not, at least there's closure. Closure is better than nothing, in my opinion. Like, that's what was my mindset back then, was even if the closure is a negative closure, and this is the end, and this is John saying, I hate you, don't ever talk to me ever again, you're a scumbag.
It's always an excuse. Now you're gonna hop on. He never gave me closure. Man, this guy.
I'd rather have that than, I just ghost you forever, and who knows what happened, right? So, in reality, what happened was I got my answers, just not in the way that I was expecting, and it blew up completely in my face because now everyone publicly thought that I was a scoundrel, a scumbag, a piece of garbage because of this video. Again, I'm not going to dispute that there's things I've done wrong, all right? Let's continue.
Yeah, not only that, every single time we've been out in the field and people have asked us about him, all we do is we don't associate with him anymore, but we wish him the best of luck. Remember that guy that we met at the YouTube studios?
Yeah.
It's the same question, and that we always give the same answer.
Yeah, man.
We're not.
They would go out in public and tell people we don't associate with Phil anymore, we wish him the best, but they wouldn't tell me. They're telling other people, but not me. So again, I'm the one left with the public face to the internet. Thousands of people who want answers. I have none, and they won't give me the answer, but they'll tell someone at the YouTube studios, oh, we're done with Phil. We're not going to deal with him anymore. How about me?
You heard that. You're done. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand, like, you're latching on to some little issue when it comes to them breaking off from you. Because they didn't tell you directly. They don't feel like they needed to. You know exactly what you did. And you should just live with that. You're making, now you're looking for little things to blame them about, and they didn't do anything wrong.
You know?
We're not here to bash anybody, but at the same time, we're not here to take shit from anybody either.
Yeah. There's enough is enough, and we always talk about it. You know, as I always say, hopefully we don't have to do this.
Yeah, we talk about this on a
It's sad.
consistent
It's
basis.
disgusting. It's sad. But, here we are, man. So,
Yeah.
and again, I'm gonna like spell this out. This isn't an attack. This isn't like just an attack. Like, this is all the shit that went down. There's things that are out there that he put out there, things other people believe that are not true.
Yeah.
So I have to defend.
All right, he's going to bring up the subject of money now. He's right, but it's because... All right, I'm not even going to get ahead.
He's
I'll let
right,
him
but...
talk, and then
okay.
we'll address it, okay? So really my last feelings on the subject of... Because now they're going to move on. My last feelings on the subject of the Thanksgiving 2015 Ask the King, which is how this whole started, all right? I was completely in the wrong for saying what I said and doing that. At the same time, they had been ghosting me for about a year. The only contact I have with them is John making a Pay Me Tons parody that essentially has my name in it, so it is a slam against me. Even though I thought it was funny, it's still a slam against me, and everyone sees it like that. All right? They continue to ignore me for the rest of the year. All the viewers and fans are asking why. I don't know. But they're telling everyone publicly that they run into, oh, we don't associate with Phil anymore, we don't like him, you know, but we wish him the best. I don't know that, right? Things are just getting worse and worse for me in 2015. Again, piling on of shit. The DDoSing, the swatting, my relationship falling apart, my YouTube channel getting destroyed, and this was just the other fucked up thing behind everything. You know what I'm saying? And it just kept festering.
Almost seems like when
I wanted
people keep goading you in
But I
in
did got a
games,
closure.
and you just
Sadly,
snap, and you all the stuff that you say you're not going to do just peels away, and you become the same dude you are now, yelling at people, insulting people. So maybe it's your the way you deal with pressure, and you're taking out on these guys.
It's a public closure. I just wanted them to say, hey, enough is enough. We don't want to be your friend anymore. Leave us alone. Which they never did. And they still didn't. Because in this video, they don't say that either. Although, obviously, if you make a 90-minute negative video about someone, that's pretty much what you're saying. Okay.
Myself, we have to dispel some things. So I want to get into a couple things here, man.
There we go.
So, first one I want to talk about, which is disgusting, man, is money, okay? You ever told, like, you shouldn't talk about money?
Oh yeah,
never
all
tell
the
you
time. All the time.
Yep.
This is not me complaining
Oh, I
about
hear it every
money,
day.
because honestly, from
Yeah,
my
you
side of things, I
shouldn't.
know some other people in our circle don't agree, but I believe I was treated fairly with money. But the problem is, info that's been presented to you is not exactly true. So it's something.
Okay. John feels that he was treated fairly with money, but people in their circle don't agree. Who? What are you talking about? This is about you and me. This is not about people in your circle. And what did you...
No, he's trying to say he feels he got treated fairly, and money isn't the issue here. It's the lies that you told people about it. Nothing about the money. So whenever you bring up money, it's a moot point because he's talking about how you were dishonest.
you tell them? So you told people in your circle what money you were making in our videos. Other people knew, okay? It wasn't just me on one side. He was telling people all around him what kind of money he was making, apparently, and they said it wasn't enough. So there's the seed of, oh, you're not happy. You shouldn't be happy with that. You should have more, right? Again, John said earlier, this isn't about money. I don't care what everyone else makes around me. He says here, Phil treated me fairly with money. But now he's about to have a whole segment about money. So why? If you feel you were treated fairly, right? Why are you doing a segment about money? He says, oh, because there's some misinformation. Even if there was misinformation, who cares? You were treated fairly with money. How is this an
He
issue?
cares.
Right?
He cares. You
And
lied.
this is the circle of friends.
Misinformation.
Again, when
It
I watched
has
this
nothing
video,
to do
and
with
I've watched
money.
it many, many times over the years. This is a 7-year-old video. There is this reference to a circle of people behind the scenes who are basically, which sounds to me, they're poisoning the well.
Sounds to me he's taking a page out of your book with the behind the scenes stuff that you could just pull it right out of your ass. So let's see what John has to say. DSP, why don't you be quiet, please?
They're looking at the situation as outsiders, right? And they're telling John, hey, John, You were treated badly. This was bad. Why were, meanwhile, John and I are having a blast. We're making content. We're making money. We're having a good time together. There's no ill will there. All
So
right?
blame the
But
unnamed mass of
What
people
is
and not
this circle
yourself.
of friends telling you didn't make enough money? Why are you listening to them if you feel like you did? Right? This comes up later. There's other topics where they start saying, oh, people in our friend circle said this and that. What? Why is this discussed in your friend circle? This is you and me, our friendship, our business relationship. Why is this being poisoned by others? This is weird to me. To hear him say it like this, it's very telling that there's other stuff going on that you don't know about until this video comes out, okay? Anyway, let's see what John has to say about money, which he said you shouldn't talk about.
That he says quite often, John got 50%, got half of everything that I made, that we made together, or videos I was in with him, right? And again, Howard, like, why is this something that's said publicly?
This should have
come up with any kind of reason?
There is no reason to say this unless he's lying, or B, he's trying to save face.
I'm trying to save face because at this time, again, when did I start talking about that shit publicly? 2014, 2015. Because people started, again, maybe mostly trolls, but people saying, Phil, why is John on your content? Phil, John said he would be in your content and he's ignoring you. Why? Did you not pay him? And that was a big thing. People always wanted to make it about money when John never had an issue with money. Never once did he say to me, I'm not getting paid enough for my work. And so I never thought it was an issue. Now, I have no idea when I started talking about it publicly, nor do I know the context because I couldn't find it. I'm sure people will find it now, and that's fine. Because I'm going to tell you, I know I said it. I know that I said this, that I paid John 50%. I know I should I have said that? Probably not. At the same time, do you feel that if you were getting paid 50% of the money being made on a project that's a co-op, is that enough? Right? Trying to be fair. People were constantly attacking me, telling me that I was not paying John. Like, this was an ongoing thing with my trolls, that Phil was a scumbag who ripped off John and never paid him, or didn't pay him enough. And he was pocketing all the money and being the big guy who was rich and everything, and John was getting nothing, and I was basically using his work and profiting off of it and all that, and it couldn't have been further from the truth, as we're about to discuss, but this became a common meme. Much like all the memes about me today that are stupid bullshit, the more that people say something, the more they will believe it, whether or not there's any evidence at all. There was no evidence of any of this because John never talked about it publicly, nor did I. So there's no way they could say that, but that was their line of reasoning, is that, oh, Phil doesn't pay John, okay? So one day, I'm sure I got annoyed, like Howard says, I take the troll bait. I got annoyed, and on a stream I say, listen, I was fair. I paid John 50%. Was it a lie? No. It was saving face. Howard is correct. I was trying to save face. I was trying to justify that you can't tell me.
Was it a lie to save face, or was it a lie? Or was it just to save face? You're not answering the question. And you are still deflecting to the trolls. Another time. Jesus.
The reason John doesn't want to be in my stuff today is money. He was always paid fair. I shouldn't have done that. Another mistake I made.
There's no reason to even address anything about money publicly on a YouTube video.
Yeah, this was done way before there was any kind of, before there was major problems. Just something's thrown out like, oh look, I'm a great guy. You didn't have the money.
Yeah.
So did you throw the other punch, DSP, and start talking about money, and force them to talk about money because you do? Let's see what happens.
It's not exactly the truth. Okay, so he starts doing YouTube stuff in 2008. I do.
There's some of it.
I start doing videos with him.
That's Street Fighter vlogging.
We've been hanging out for a couple years before that, playing games. So just kind of transitioned into never to be playing games, but recording games. And I did this stuff in 2008 when we started YouTube. I did this for probably a couple years for nothing.
He says he did it for a couple of years for nothing. That's correct. Any videos that he appeared in before I was able to monetize those videos, he didn't get paid for. I was only able to monetize the gameplay videos in early 2011 when I got partnered with Machinima. So any videos he appears in prior to that, he didn't get paid for. Also, I didn't get paid for them either.
I signed on with Machinima a few years later, and I had to come to him and ask, because we're still doing videos. I said, since you're getting something for this, do you feel that I should get a percentage of that for my efforts on here, right? Mm-hmm. So we make an agreement.
By the way, I had to come to him and ask. He says it like he was doing these videos for an extended period of time, and I was not paying him. Then he had to ask for the money. No. Once I got partnered, it was pretty quick. I can't exactly tell you when. I can tell you it was relatively quickly after I got partnered. He was regularly.
The question is, did you offer, or did he have to come to you? That shows a lot about you if he had to come to you for that.
Doing the co-op with me, and then we started seeing the results. Oh, the views were good. There's money coming in. And then he said, hey, can I get paid for that? I said, absolutely. You are 100% entitled to getting paid. You're part of this content. It wasn't like, oh, I did it for months and months, and I had to then ask him and beg him for money. That's not what happened. The way he says that makes it sound like that, and that's not what happened at all. Fuck.
Which will be basically half of the month's co-op income. So what happens is he takes out taxes from that amount and cuts it in half, right? I get half of that. But for instance, like if it's March and we do videos in March, I will get a percentage of what was made in March. It does not include residuals like for months coming up. Like for instance, if those videos make more money in April or June and July, okay, like that doesn't include that. So whatever was made in April for that month, that's what I would get. It does not include streams or whatever other money comes in, right?
Yep.
This went on for a little while.
Okay, so let's address this, because this is for part 1, then there's a part 2 to it, where the agreement changed, okay? Here's the full story for context. I was working with Machinima as a partnered member.
You mean the pig
and that
story?
means that I would put out videos. Depending on the views the videos got, I would make a flat rate of money per number of views on a video. Machinima would keep all the ad revenue and give me that flat rate. Most cases, they were making more money on the ad revenue than what they were paying me. That's how they made their profits, and they made a living, basically. They were making the money on the ads. I was getting the flat rate payments, okay? So, John is correct. What we would do a month of content, okay? Now, by the way, people seem to have this very weird conception or notion that YouTube is this
Here we go,
big
straw man.
corporate entity
Gaslight.
that runs crazy amounts of tracking and reports and has all this data that is completely false, okay? Especially back then, we're talking like 2011. Here's how I got paid, and here's how I figured out any data. I got paid by a PayPal payment, one lump sum a month. Here you go. Here's your money. Okay, what is this? Is this revenue from one channel, other channels, all channels? Oh, that's just all your revenue. So I don't even know the money coming in. What's it from? Is it from DSP Gaming? I had other channels running. Or is it from the other channel? I don't know. Here it is, lump sum. Okay, so how do I figure out what made what? Especially back then, there was no way to figure that out on YouTube. There was no analytics tab on YouTube. It didn't exist. There was no way to figure out how much money a video made, okay? What you would have to do is manually sort videos and start counting views and shit. So it was a nightmare. I was like, dude, with the amount of co-op videos we're pumping out, right? Every week we're doing a co-op. That's what, 20, 30 videos plus smart guys. Like, we're talking, we'd have to track 100 more videos a month to figure out what we're making on these specific videos. So.
A what? A month? What's a month? M-U-N-T, month. Oh, month. He's so lazy, he can't even go month. Do that, month, not month. But according to this part of this video, I think John and DSP were at the wrong here. They should have signed something and worked something out, because the residuals are the months after. I don't think John didn't see anything of that. It's kind of bad on him, but also if DSP is raking in the dough that he said he did back then, he should have been paying John more, regardless of what John asked that he needed. You'll see it coming up soon.
Oh, I started contacting Machinima behind the scenes, and I made a request of them that they thought was ridiculously outlandish. I said, hey guys, you're the ones who have all the data. You're the partner network. You're tracking videos. You have access to all that data. Can you, on a monthly basis, start sending me reports on videos? And, you know, can I use those reports to pay? Well, here's what I told them, which is kind of stupid. I said, I need these reports to pay my employees. I got some people here working with me, and I have a business agreement with them, okay? And I need to be able to pay them. If I don't know what videos
was the
they're
business
making,
agreement?
I can't pay them. So Machinima, on a monthly basis, starts sending me reports that are the most stupidly ludicrous reports I've ever seen. Is it a Excel file that I can sort and search and do stuff with, right? Is it anything that I can do anything with actively? No, it's a fucking PDF file. Uneditable, unsortable. It's just like as if someone right now handed you a piece of paper with printed text on it.
This is him over-exaggerating what it was, and I'm sure, seeing he was a business major in college, he could have figured it out, especially when your business partner is your friend. I don't care what he says. There was a way to figure it out.
That's what they're sending me. Okay? So here's what we would do. We would wait for a month to pass. Okay? And the next month, we would sit down when they send me the monthly report.
Yeah, you got it right.
And we would
month.
say, what were the co-ops we did last month? And we would figure it out. Okay, here's what we did. And I would, not John, I would go there line by line and count up the amount of money that those videos made, because that's exactly what the report was. What I was paid for that video by Machinima that month.
John probably should have.
So I would go through all of that,
gone
sort it
through it with you.
myself, add it up, subtract taxes, which we knew what the taxes were. I knew what I was paying my tax guy and everything, you know, for the taxes. Here's the profits, and I would cut it right down the middle, 50%, and I would give that to John on a monthly basis. Okay. Now he's absolutely correct. There was no residuals paid. Okay, and there was a reason for that.
So right then and there, you have the formula, right? The 50% off of whatever videos you're talking about, right? So then, if Machinima ever cuts you off with that, you still have the percentage of the total money that you could still dish out to him. There was a way, but DSP obviously can't think for himself. Ignorance again. He's using the ignorance thing. When Machinima cuts him off from giving him these papers, he pretends that it's impossible to calculate, which it's not. Excuse me, which it is possible, but DSP makes it seem like it's not possible.
It was actually a discussion that we had. It wasn't like, oh, we never talked about it or whatever. We did have a residuals discussion. He said, is there any way to figure out residuals? I said, well, John, the only way we can figure out residuals is literally, if every month, not only am I going to sit down and look at the new videos we made, but now I have to request reports on previous months from Machinima, and I have to sit down here and crunch those numbers too. And we did this actually once and found out that the residuals, unless it was a giant playthrough, the residuals were essentially nothing. All right? A few dollars. Okay?
Show me the receipts on that, DSP. You make it seem like you didn't make any money after.
Now, you might say, well, it's a few dollars is a few dollars, right? I mean, hell, if he's coming over your house every week and doing co-op, what's fair is fair. Pay him what you're owed. We had this conversation. And the conversation was, okay, well, we're going to do this co-op content, but also there's going to be things that come up, right? Sometimes we're going to do other things. We're going to go on trips. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And not to say that it was a contract we made. We didn't. This contract was never, by the way, no contract was ever made between us. There was no written contract. He didn't sign. I didn't sign. This was just our agreement that we did. We just did it. We were friends. We didn't think
pretty bad mistake
could go wrong. And my God,
Sean's part.
Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to me. No, really. Please listen to me right now. Okay? If I can give you one piece of advice out of this whole situation, this whole fucked up situation, this is it right now. This moment. Clip this part, okay? It doesn't matter if you're friends with someone. If you are entering a business arrangement with someone, you must document it and you must have a contract. Period. Because this is not the first or last time that an entire friendship has been negatively affected and in some cases torn apart by a business relationship.
DSP's view, he said this is the benefit of him for getting screwed over, but it's obviously the other way around. He just thinks that it would cover all of the lies that he's going to give later on. But he's so delusional when it comes to this stuff that John would have benefited from the contract, not DSP.
All right. I know examples of this. For example, screwattack.com, which doesn't exist anymore, was a very prominent website on the internet, people who make content about video games. There was two guys who were in charge, Stuttering Craig and Handsome Tom. Sadly, the same thing happened with them that happened with me and Rambo, where they had kind of agreements, and they weren't necessarily contract.
No,
and then after years of working on this content together, they had a massive disagreement of falling out. They
always
split,
have to lift yourself up to someone else.
Okay?
No, that's not how it
fucked
is.
up.
You screw them
they
over.
Were like the closest guys, you know? And the public saw that unfold, saw them have their relationship be broken, fractured, and split over the business. You know, I don't necessarily think that's exactly what happened here. I think that's one of the factors. Obviously, John would not be bringing this up if it wasn't a factor, right? He'd be ignoring it. It's a factor to him or he's not going to address it. But we didn't ever have a contract. So he can say all of this and I can say all of this, but there's no evidence of any of it, right? It's all hearsay. All I can tell you is I'm corroborating what he's saying. Yes, it's true. There were no residuals. Why was there no residuals? Because there was no way to figure them out. There was no, oh, can I have someone take data from YouTube and crunch a spreadsheet and figure out this and actually pay it? What we had was kind of an unspoken agreement, okay? And the unspoken agreement was that for the extra stuff, here's the thing on YouTube, how it works. When you first upload a video to YouTube, especially back then, maybe today it's a little different. Back then, you would upload a new video to YouTube, that video would get a ton of hot new ads on it. You make tons of money on the ads. As soon as that went away, the ads would stop running and you make almost nothing on the video. So if a video is not monetized, you make no money on it. So we would do a playthrough, a hot new co-op playthrough. The first few weeks, we'd make tons of money, all right? After that, the next 1-2 months, almost nothing. Because the ads aren't running on it anymore. Those ads are now running on all your hottest new uploads, okay? Always. Why do you think I pump out so much content? Right now, if I were to not make any new content this month, I would make almost nothing on ads on YouTube. That's how it's always worked, okay? Don't care what anyone else wants to tell you. In my experience, that's always been the case. So,
don't listen to anybody else. Just believe him.
I would have loved to pay him residuals, but we didn't know how to figure it out without an insane amount of number crunching and work for what essentially was going to amount to very little, all right? So, the unspoken rule, I mean, it wasn't that we put it down on writing, but we talked about it, is, all right, well, there's going to be situations where we're going to go on trips, right? I'm going to arrange for us to go to a convention. I'm going to arrange for us to go on a trip that I'm going to vlog or whatever. And the arrangement was that even though he wasn't getting paid any residuals for the content, I would try to pay for as much of that as possible, whether it was a hotel room, whether it was gas for his car because he was driving, but I would pay for the gas, whether it was plane tickets in some cases. That was kind of the rule that we had. I was the one making the money here, right? I would pay him 50% of the co-op income, and anything else that came of it would be in another form, maybe intangible form, but you'd be able to go on trips and stuff. Like that's what the agreement was, okay? He never complained. He never had a problem with it whatsoever, and this started essentially in early 2011 when I was partnered with Machinima. I can't tell you the exact date, but I believe it was about mid to late 2013 when this changed. And he's going to reveal how it changed, all right now. So let's continue.
Again, it's not exactly 50% if you throw that out there, but this goes on for a little while. Then he says to me, Machinima isn't sending me reports anymore, so I have no idea the amount of money that we're making on the co-op. I have no way of figuring it out. So I can no longer figure out this percentage that we agreed on. So I basically just go, okay, listen, throw me $100 every time I come down.
I'm gonna let him talk.
Okay.
Say the whole thing.
And the way I come to this number is because the round trip is about 2.5 hours of driving. Right. I'm there the entire day, and I have to buy a meal at some point.
I wonder what the average 50% was. If we're going from that to $100, it seems like it's a pretty big pay cut. But you know, Daddy DSP sees a deal, and he doesn't speak. Like he's not right now. He's letting Howard talk, and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get just $100." DSP's like, "Oh, that's it? Okay, perfect." But you know, a friend or someone that you're business partners with, or you're in this for, and he's helping you get more views. You'd think you if you were making an abundance of money, you're the one with all the money. You said you'd kick him some more, but that's just me.
So give me $100 to kind of cover my expense. You also have to consider, you know, these are days like I'm not going to work because my job, I'm an independent contractor, so I'm not going to work these days. So if you really do the math, with gas and food and wear and tear in your car, you know, $100 every time you come, you're not exactly profiting there. And including not going to working at a job which will actually make you more money than this, you know.
Yep.
So just to flat out say you got 50%, it's far from true. It's far from the truth there. Like I guess it's half truth. It's a half truth. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, it's a half truth.
You know. So when people want to throw other stuff out there, man, I'll like go to conventions and be paid for things. Again, like you go to conventions, you got to take time from work, because I'm not getting paid for work. And we went to conventions, he's got an injury. He has a back injury. So I would go and I would carry things, I would film things. I did all the driving, as you know, and then do whatever I could to help. I was coming as, it's not just like, hey Phil, take me on this trip, and I'll fuck around and I'll sit by the pool. You know, came as basically to assist him in his business, as he likes to call it, right?
Mm-hmm. A lot of passive-aggressive stuff, and all that stuff you just said. A lot of passive-aggressive stuff. The business, as he likes to call it. He has a back injury, or so he says, his back, right? Yeah. Everything there, everything I ever said was true. I had a back injury, it was severe. The thing is, I'm very, very good at hiding pain, right? You guys couldn't tell in my videos back then. Half the time when I was sitting around making a vlog, I wasn't shooting pain on my leg, numbness. It was bad, all right? I had a business. I was paying taxes. I was doing everything like you have to do with the business.
Good at hiding
but
stuff. Good at being dishonest about things.
Oh, yeah, what he calls a business.
Yeah,
that back injury he has and stuff. That's basically what he's saying by saying that stuff like that, okay? Now, I will 100% confirm everything he just said. Yes, what happened was in I want to say it was late 2013. I can't confirm that. But after over 2 years of me paying him that 50% cut, our arrangement changed. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of perspective, okay? 1 month, okay? We're texting back and forth, I believe. And John's like, hey, I'm just curious.
Seems like a story is what the fabricate. He's got the hands going all over his face, the eyes, the googly eyes that he makes. He's about to go to a story. So the story's going to probably start with some truth, and he's just going to embellish it and make it seem like, you know, he's the good guy out of the situation.
Machinima send you the report because actually I'm kind of hard up this month. I need some help. Can I get the money a little early? I was like, yeah, no problem, man. Let's try to figure this out. So I get the report out, and I'm doing it. It was like the middle of the night, okay? I'm doing it, and I don't know if I fucked up, all right? I don't know if we just
It
had
was
a
definitely you.
really, really good month that month. I can't remember. But I remember doing it in the middle of the night, and it was like an exorbitant amount.
Oh, the charitable
Split
deal
down
with
the middle. It was like a
DSP.
ridiculous amount for a co-op. It was the most we'd ever made on a co-op by far, by like, I'm not kidding, like double. All right? And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, could this be real? Did I fuck up? So I'm doing, I mean, it's the middle of the night. I'm tired. I'm probably fucking it up. Who cares, right? I'm doing the math again. I do it again. It's the same. I was like, so I don't think I fucked up. I just think something happened. Maybe that particular playthrough got giant ads on YouTube for some reason, giant views for some reason. I don't know what it was. You know, I don't know why. There was a time when we did, it might have been, I don't know if it was, but I know that we did a Family Guy playthrough, and that playthrough had inflated views, and we got overpaid for it. But I don't know if that was it. But anyway, there's this one time where he really needed the money, and I said, okay, I'm going to send it to you, okay? So I send it to him, all right? 5 minutes pass. I get a frantic phone call. He goes, Phil, I think you made a horrible mistake. He goes, I think you sent me too much money. This is ridiculous. There's no way. I was like, no, John, I just did the math like 3 times, and that's really, you know, what you're owed for this month's work. He goes, no. He's like, there's no way. He goes, there's no way that's the amount. I was like, no, it really is. And he's like, I feel guilty.
So you're trying to say that you could have pulled a fast one over on him, or you're being, you're being honest, so you're trying to highlight this part. Like, I don't understand the point of the story. I know it's got to be trying to make yourself look better, but
taking this much for the playthroughs we did this month, you know, and what we're doing, we're fucking around. We're sitting around playing video games. He's like, we made this much money. I was like, John, listen, I want you to know something. I don't even care if I fucked up. I make good money here. You know, not only are we doing this co-op that's making crazy money, because these were the great years of YouTube when ad revenue was rolling. I told you how much money I used to make back then, insane
this
amount.
just contradicts everything you just said.
There's so much money I'm making. Dude, I don't care. Just keep it. I don't even care if I fucked it up. Just keep it. You need it, dude. I'm your friend. I know this is kind of fucked up that it's a business relationship. We even have to talk about it. Just keep it. And he was happy, you know. So to me, when he's bringing this shit up in a video like this, it's like it couldn't have been further from the truth of this. He's making it sound like it wasn't a good situation. It was a crazy good situation, man. He was so happy doing that co-op. I know he was. We had so much fun, and he was actually able to do things financially because he was making good money doing it, you know. And it really irks me. It really irks me that.
Yeah, and he was sacrificing money going to see you, so obviously he was having fun, dude. Like, it's not about that. It's about you being dishonest. It's not about money. It's never been about money with those guys.
He even talked about this in the video when he says, "Oh, I was treated fairly, but now I'm going to talk about this for a long time, like I wasn't." Okay. Now the second half, he's talking about.
Oh, that was the one
$100
fabricated
okay?
story that he
So
made to
in
make
late
it seem like he's
2013,
fair.
I think I can't confirm this because I don't have the data anymore. Machinima tells me they can't send me the reports anymore. They don't give me a justification as to why. They just say they can't. They also told me no one else under the partner network made those requests. I was the only person asking for that data, and they don't have to provide it. So this is just one of the many cases over the years where Machinima's attitude towards me completely changed for no seemingly good reason. We had a good relationship. They were sending me these reports all along, no problem. All of a sudden, oh, we can't do that. Why is he being so demanding of us that he wants this data? So they wouldn't give it to me anymore, okay? So if you don't have the raw data, all you can do is guess based off of views on YouTube, which is not reliable. And we were trying to guess how much money videos are making or whatever. And John, after like a month of trying to guess and you know, having difficulty doing it, said, all right, forget it. He's like, here's what we're going to do. Just pay me $100 a week. And I even said to him, I said, you sure that's what you want? I in my head, I had a ballpark number. I wanted to pay him around $250 a week.
You should have paid him the $250 a week, but it just shows the kind of guy you are, where you're getting a deal, and I'm sure you made the same amount of money regardless of Machinima sending you that spreadsheet or whatever the hell, that PDF thing that you can't figure out on your own. He took a pay cut, and you should have insisted on the $250. That's just, in my opinion. You said you're rolling in dough. $250 was nothing to you back then. You had that idea. It wasn't going to break your bank, obviously, because that was what you thought of. I don't know. It just shows that you got a deal again.
To come do what he did, because it was Smart Guys, the commentary show, and it was all the co-op we were doing, and I knew that he was driving. I knew it was gas cost involved both ways. He lived in New York, the state. I live in Connecticut. There's exorbitant amounts of gas cost there. Probably he was paying $20, $30.
Again, it's not your fault.
Every couple of weeks for
John
gas
said $100. You said $250.
Okay?
It's not your fault, dude. It's not your fault.
So I wanted to pay him more. That was the ballpark number I had in my head. It was around $250 a week. Okay, and he said no. I just want the 100. All right, that's our agreement. We're gonna do the 100. By the way, I never offered him the 250. I gotta clarify because now I'm misconstruing it in the wrong way. Bullshit. Bad on you, Phil. Bad Phil. I gotta call myself out on bullshit from now on. Bad Phil. I didn't offer him the 250. I asked him what he wanted.
You should have offered it to him.
250 was a number in my mind. I never
You
said.
scumbagged him.
I feel bad now because I said that. That's a lie. That didn't happen. He wanted 100. I said I will give you what you want. Okay. I should have paid him more. I didn't. Okay. So from like late 2013.
And this is what he's talking
up
about. He's
until
not talking
the
about money. He's
time
talking
when
about
I
you being
moved in
dishonest.
2014, he was getting paid about $100 a week for the stuff that we were doing. Keep in mind that all those other things, like he just mentioned behind the scenes, conventions, I paid for the hotel rooms, I paid for gas to driving to those. When we went, just to give you some perspective, we went to E3 together in 2012, all right? I basically bullshitted Machinima. And I told Machinima, listen, I need John to come with me to E3 because I need a cameraman because I have a debilitating back injury. Now, did I have a debilitating back injury? Yes. Did I need John to come to E3 with me to film and carry my shit? No. I could have done that myself. I bullshitted Machinima to get him into E3. I paid for his plane ticket myself because Machinima would not.
So you had a debilitating back injury. It's only, see, it just shows that you're not honest. The debilitating back injury was an excuse for you when you were talking about him giving you shit, but yet you're laughing with him saying, "Oh, I just pulled a fast one over on Machinima saying that I have a debilitating back injury to get you to come." So what is it? Is it a debilitating back injury when John questions it because he probably saw you say that, or is it a debilitating back injury that you can actually work around and it's not really that bad?
Not pay for it. They said all they would do is they would get him a pass. So I paid for his plane ticket to and from. Okay? We went to WrestleMania. Okay? We knew going to WrestleMania in 2013 would not garner a lot of content for the internet because WWE was classically infamous for claiming content that you put out there from any of their live events. So I knew that even if I recorded footage at WrestleMania, that it wouldn't make money. It wasn't, in my mind, that was not a business trip. That was a fun trip for friends, okay? I paid for the gas. He drove. I paid for the hotel room. I paid for the WrestleMania tickets. Those were over $1,000 each WrestleMania tickets, okay?
It's a fun trip for friends, or is it a business trip? You got to pick one of the two. It's only convenient, and it's only fun when it suits you, and it's only a business trip when it suits you. So you go back and forth. Again, not about the money. It's about how John felt you screwed him over.
I didn't care. This was fun stuff I was doing with my friend. I wanted him to be along for the ride with me, okay? I didn't want him to feel left out because I was the one with his name on the channel. I wanted him to come with me and share these experiences with me. The WrestleMania trip was...
That's why he comes with you, because his name is on the channel. That's the whole point. So you using the friend thing as an excuse, that's another. You deflect all the time. So you got to pick. You're the one that was saying, "Oh, we're friends in business is tough to do." Yeah, exactly, because you're the one that made it confusing and that made it horrible.
It's not a business trip at all. It was a friend trip for us to go experience WrestleMania together. And sure, on the back end, come back and do a smart guys about it, right? But it absolutely, positively was not that. And he's saying every trip we ever
probably
went
wrote
on,
it off in taxes,
he was
too.
my work guy carrying my stuff and filming. That is completely false. The only trip ever that happened was E3. Do you want to know why that happened at E3? Because we had to bullshit Machinima to get him his pass. So they needed...
You can't say it's completely false when you just say it's completely false, but this time. So it's not completely false. So there's some truth to it.
To see him following me along, carrying my bags and equipment. They needed to see him recording some stuff that I was doing so that we wouldn't get in trouble for getting him into E3. Okay? Outside of that, it's actually completely untrue. Whenever we went to a convention, John could do whatever he wanted. I mean, yeah, he would be on the panel that we did at the convention to promote his own content that he was doing on his channel, whether it was his podcast or Schnoz Man and Hole Punch. I didn't demand that when he came to a convention, he could only talk about our content. That wasn't the intention. It was he could get free promotion for his own stuff. I got his foot in the door of all of these conventions and onto these panels to promote his content, okay?
That's not the reason why you brought him there. You brought him there to help you, because you're partners. Man, this guy, he's Saint DSP. He's such a good dude. I'm gonna give him free advertising for his stuff, dude. You said it was free to do whatever you want, but he had to be on the panel. Free to do whatever you want, but this. Everything but this. This is false, but this. This never happens, but the time it did. It's insane, man. It's the same shit.
There was a convention we went to, Screw Attack Gaming Convention, in 2013. Okay, I think it was 2013. I'm pretty sure it was. During this convention, I think I interacted with John Rambo a grand total of 2 hours. It was probably when we arrived, said hello, saw each other at the table that we had there a few times, and then when we were leaving, we didn't have the same hotel room. At that point, I was with my ex. We had our room, and he had his own room with Howard, okay, and OJ. I was doing my own content. I was filming everything myself.
Notice what he didn't say though. Did John pay for this trip, or did you pay for him to come? See, he leaves out this stuff. He might have paid for a couple of trips with him, but maybe this is a trip he didn't pay for. He leaves out these little details that could sway the whole conversation, but he chooses to leave these out.
Everything that was filmed for the Iron Man of Gaming competition, I filmed, okay? Yet, he was there. I got him in. He had a table. He had a panel with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he went and made so much content for his own channel. In this video, he acts like, oh, you gotta understand that even though the money was good, and people can justify that the money, maybe even when it wasn't good, will feel paid for all those conventions and things. Well, I was working the whole time. That's a lie. He worked definitely during E3, and everything else was us having fun as friends. Okay? Everything else was, like I said, at WrestleMania trip, there was zero work. There was no work. It was fun. So he is spinning this in a way that's, all right, not completely untrue, because there's one time when he actually did do a significant amount of work because we had to, or else Machinima might say, hey, what, do you fucking lie to us about this guy, filming for you or whatever? I told him he was my cameraman. Now, I needed that because I had a back injury, right? Outside of that, it was all...
So now he's swinging it as the excuse again, the back. You gotta pick one, man. Pick a side, stick with it. You can't be both ways. The whole thing, he just keeps twisting the words around. You made money off of going. I'm sure you put the WrestleMania as a business trip. You wrote it off. John came back, did a video with you. You made money off of that, and I'm sure you wrote his ticket off too. So you're not the saint that you claim to be. We've seen that throughout the years.
Always friendship. It was about friendship. Me paying for everything because I was the one making all the money on the channel, and friendship so that he could come with me. This statement he's making here is incredibly hurtful to me. Incredibly. Because it couldn't be further from the truth, at least from my perspective. Maybe that's how he saw it, but that wasn't what was happening. I can't believe he says this. Really, I can't. Oh, every trip that we went was full work for me, and I was taking days off of work. Dude, it was us hanging out, and I paid for everything because you were taking time off of work to do it. You wanted to go. You agreed to all of it. Like, why is this an issue later?
I like to see the receipts on this, too.
Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I'm actually really hurt by that statement that he makes there, because that really makes it feel like all those times we had together that were friendly, and I was doing my best to make sure that he could share in the fun of everything that I was doing as a result of being a YouTuber, that he would be part of it because I want him to be part of it because he was my best friend at the time. I really felt like this is like him just saying none of that mattered at all. None of it ever mattered. It was all bullshit. He didn't care, and I don't believe that. I think that this is a video.
I don't think you care.
Trying to, like I said, along with Howard, create kind of hit piece against me, and this is a messed up situation where he's trying to downplay all the great times we had that were not about being monetized. We're not about him filming, doing work for me. It was about us being friends and me paying for those fun times to happen. And he's like, oh, that's not a factor. Okay, whatever. You can believe me. You can disagree with me and not believe me. I don't care. I'm just getting it off my chest. Okay?
So again, it's not me. That wasn't me complaining about like I should have gotten this, I should have gotten that.
Because he never did.
It's just like, again, it gets out there. He got half of what's made, but there's many more details in there that are not given.
One final thing about it, because they're going to move on and start talking about Project 7 now, I believe. By the end, those last few months that I was in Connecticut and I was paying him the $100, not that this even matters, but just doing basic math, okay? Our co-op stuff had completely fallen off. We basically had done all the big games. There wasn't many big games coming out. We were just weekly doing co-op. And between Smart Guys and, the co-op stuff we were doing and the money that those videos were essentially making from Machinima, I was paying him more. That $100 I was paying him a week was actually more than what was being made on the videos. So
you just said you didn't know the videos.
We were doing...
Jesus. You just said you didn't know how much money you were making off the video. So how can you say that it was $100 was more than what you are? You can't, when it's convenient, or when you just think of the excuse while you're talking about other things. When you come up with this excuse, it has to fit with the narrative that you had before. And no one's going to call you out on this because the way that you're set up, you talk to a screen of people, and you ban anybody that has any sort of insight into this, or you kick them off, you ban them, you bully them. But dude, no one's going to believe you. Out of all the lies that you said, no one is going to believe you just saying this later on after the fact. If this should have been one of your main points. If this was your point and it was truthful, you should have said it the second you started talking with $100. Not this after the fact thing that contradicts yourself, saying that Machinima is not telling you how much it is. When you never figured that out. You never figured it out for his benefit, and now but you figured it out for his detriment.
Content for the sake of just doing content and having fun. And I was paying him more money than I was making. I was losing money on the co-op for about 2-3 months there at the end there, roughly. Okay?
Prove it.
All you gotta do is look at the decline of my channel over the years, and you'll see the viewers go boo all the way down. And yeah, those views monstrously declined on that stuff around 2014.
That's not true.
But I wanted it to keep going. And that's why I kept paying.
Let's get into this, man. I'll spend all day on this. Probably
Here we go. Project 7.
It's never DSP's fault.
Try to keep it down as much as we can. But we got to touch on Project 7 because, again, there's things said publicly that kind of need to be, addressed. So Project 7.
So this is Project 7.
We were
I'm
involved in.
going to stop it here, and I'm going to do another video for this third part. I only thought there was 2 parts, but this is where the juicy stuff comes in. Hopefully this wasn't too boring. Talks a lot in circles, so it's like, how many times can you call him out on the same shit? But hopefully I got my point across that this dude has the self-awareness of a black hole, just absolute zero. Such a fragile ego on this guy. Hopefully it was entertaining. Hopefully you liked it. Let me know. Scold.